Hello, no snow anymore, so we can finally play the 13th match day tomorrow against Berlin. Welcome to the press conference. There's a spot on your shirt. It's only water, but we can't see it, but you can see your hands. So let's start with the first questions. Mr. Tuchel, on Sunday you couldn't explain quite what really happened on the pitch, and you said you need some explanation from the players. No, I never said that. And then you said, well, we should ask the players why you can't transfer the performances from the practice pitch to the playing field. Did you talk to the players about what happened and what went wrong on the pitch and what to improve for Wednesday? Well, I think we can do a lot better because there's lots of room for improvement. The explanation stays the same as far as passion and the bite and our approach to duels is concerned, the enthusiasm. That's what we need for every football game, and for 70 minutes we were below par. We expect more from ourselves in that regard, and that just wasn't present. It wasn't enough to win the game, and this is part of my responsibility, obviously, and that's how I'm trying to explain this. This is going to be the basis for every football game, at least when I'm in charge, in order to perform a good game. And what I consider to be a good game, we need to have those virtues on the pitch, and this is the basis for every tactical thing that can happen on the pitch, and you have to see this, and we didn't show it. We are trying to do better tomorrow. I don't know whether you read the statement from Jan-Christian Dresen, who was talking about a boring game, particularly in the first 70 minutes. What do you think about it? Well, he's completely right. And where do you take your confidence from to be able to switch, to hit the switch for tomorrow? Well, it's not going to be easy to flip the switch, because it isn't easy to just do this. We know the situation we're in, and we know that we have lots of room for improvement. But we've seen it in the friendly against Basel, we've seen it against Hoffenheim, and now against Bremen. It is our job and my responsibility to do everything and to demand and to talk about the things that went wrong, and we show it to the players, and that's why we are really positive ahead of those games, and we stay this way, but we're really far behind our expectations in the game so far, but we're going to influence the group the best we can and demand what we need in order to get the things going and really show the passion and the greed and the hunger, which is the basis for every football game, which is the basis in order to make the fans happy and really show that we are a team that wants to achieve a goal together against all odds and with lots of lust and with the passion and the euphoria to win games, and we are well behind. Mr. Tuchel, after the Hoffenheim game, you said regarding the fans' boycott, as far as the cheering is concerned, you were telling, well, we need more support, and the fans reacted with a banner that enthusiasm can't be created by the click of a button. Do you see a disadvantage when the fans are boycotting in the next game as well? Well, obviously, and I can imagine you will find any coach that will not see this as a disadvantage when there is a lack of fan support. We had this at the home game against Stuttgart, where we played against Joshua and Leon. Rafael Guerrero had his first game in central defense, his first game as a starter. Alex Pavlovic next to him and in his second game. And you obviously wish for a better support against the Stuttgart team that has no injured players and that was on a run, and you wish to have this electric atmosphere from the first minute on in order to push you forward. But when there are reasons for boycotting, but I cannot see a critic about our fans. You will not see any coach and any player who would not love to have a good atmosphere from the start. But obviously it's our responsibility to keep this atmosphere going. We had a really good atmosphere at the Super Cup, which was really extraordinary, but we still were not able to transfer that atmosphere into a good performance. So we are not putting the blame on the fans as far as our performance is concerned, and we really had a great performance when our fans were boycotting. But I still stick to my claim. I'd like, particularly in a difficult phase, that we'd have a great atmosphere where our opponent is also playing against that atmosphere, but this is not the case at this time because the situation is as it is. Mr. Tuchel, you said you want to have more greed and lust and everything. Are you going to change your approach towards the team? And when you saw that it's not going to happen all by itself, and what are you going to change? Are you going to be louder? Well, I don't know yet. I'm going to react to what my intuition and my experience tells me, and then I'm going to see what I feel, and then I'm going to adapt my speech accordingly. We are the first that are asking questions about ourselves all the time, and I'm the first that's going to ask questions to myself, because the things that I want to have as a coach, I cannot see them on the pitch so far. So the practice is part of it, the speech is part of it. But I've been a coach for quite a long time, so I know that the things that we were delivering at the start of the week and the mood at the group, but my speech is always adapting to the situation, but I haven't made up my mind yet in which direction it's going to be. Jan-Christian Dresen, we were talking about his statement after the game. Have you been talking to him of late? Were you talking to Uli Hoeneß lately? Well, absolutely. I've got a good relationship with both of them. It's nothing for the public, but we haven't been talking in the last couple of days. And Christoph Freund is with us during the days. He's there on a daily basis, and so there is sort of a bit of a distance between us and Christian Dresen, but he's completely right with his statement, so it's not a problem. Mr. Tuchel, I have to ask a longer question. After the Bremen game, I asked myself, why is the team not outnumbering the opponent, but we're only in the same numbers? Is it because the defenders are not playing bravely and quickly enough forward? And then I looked at the stats with Upamecano, with the passes that are opening up space. And when you compare it to David Alaba's stats, prior to that in Munich. Is that a key to you as well? Well, it's an interesting point, which is probably worth being looked at, but in the past couple of games it was difficult for both central defenders because our opponent had two strikers on the pitch, which were making it difficult for our central defenders to play those passes or carry the ball forward in order to start our attacks. But other than that, we played twice against a deep-lying opponent who were defending 5-3-2. So we had lots of same-numbered attacks, which isn't a problem because on a 5-against-5, a 6-against-6 is something I will take, and that we should be ready to be offensive and to take a risk when we have the same numbers with our opponents. But we cannot expect to get into to outnumber our opponent with a quick pass when he's deep laying. This can only happen with a pass across the pitch, but we are a bit impatient for that, particularly in the opponent's half. We are looking for outnumbering the opponent sometimes for too long, but like I said, it was twice a deep-lying opponent with 5 at the back, where maybe having the same number is the new having outnumbered the opponent. But individually we are good, we are quick enough, but we have to be better in movement and have to play better and be alert in order to create this one-on-one situation in order to win it, which will create a 6-against-5, a 4-against-5, and we have to look for that really small number, because when you're 6-against-6 and you think, well, it's difficult, but when there is a 2-against-2, it's looking differently because you can try to play this out, or 3-against-3 and a 1-against-1. We have to be more aggressively in taking that on, but our opponents are doing a good job, and it's too easy for the opponent to take this bravery off of us and take the speed off of us, which makes it a bit static and creates errors for us. Can I ask one more question? But do you think the ability to play it out from the back is there? Well, I think everybody does it according to his talent. We have to try to see that we are not making a mistake to compare him to David Alaba, who started as an 8, who played at number 10, who played as an outside defender, because this is not really fair as a comparison is concerned with someone who has been playing as a central defender all his life. Everybody has his strengths and weaknesses, but David had this role for a reason, because he's a real complete package. And I think that Upa, Minje, Mata are really complete central defenders, but the way they've been brought up and the way they feel good on the pitch is a bit different than David Alaba. It's not necessarily worse or better, but it's just different, so you cannot really compare them to someone who had his strength in that particular situation. So let's change from the central defenders to the fullbacks. Alphonso Davies started pretty well into the season with 3 assists in the first games. He didn't have he didn't score since that, so he's still chasing his numbers from way back. He was responsible for a couple of goals conceded. What do you think is missing in his game in order to reach his peak again? Well, it's tough to contradict that. I think that Fonzie is really a nice guy and a really sensible character, so he needs our support because he feels it and he's really critical about himself. So this is definitely going to more hold him back than actually free him for good situations. We've been talking to him quite a lot. We keep him on the pitch even though he's not reaching his top level, he always had games that were really strong. He had phases in games that are really strong. But all in all, I think he is missing a bit of self-confidence. And so I think that one thing that would really help him is if we keep on trusting him, work with him. But obviously, it's one of our strengths that when he really uses his speed and makes a difference, but he needs a better timing when to start an attack, even if it looks blocked on his side, but he needs to continue to try it. And when there's 5 at the back, then sometimes there's not as much space as there is with a 4 at the back, because the wingback on his position, so the right wingback of his opponent, will be there, and we're working on it. So he's not holding back, but he'll continue his runs and then get his confidence. And against the ball, yes, it is important for him to win more duels and to be better in those duels. We are working on those topics, but we continue to trust him because we know his potential and we know he's a really good guy. 2 more questions, please. Let's continue with that. You said you're trusting him, so there's not a thought about changing something. Well, obviously we have other options, but we hope that, but someone who's sitting on a bench doesn't mean that we're not trusting him. We hope that everyone stays healthy, and we decide on what's best for the team. Fonzie plays, and he earned his place. But if he doesn't play once, then it doesn't mean that we're not going to trust him. So what about Leon Goretzka and his situation? Well, Leon was sick, and Rafa really had a great game with Alex Pavlovic against Stuttgart and against Wolfsburg as well. They really played great and practiced extraordinarily good. He was the best player against Basel at the double pivot, so there was no reason why we should take away that slight advantage that he had away from him. It was because of Rafa's performance and not against Leon. And against Basel, we needed Leon at central defense. Why was that again? Well, I think we had injuries and Eric Dyer wasn't there yet. So this was for Leon, who really took that for the team, and he knows it from me personally. He knows that it was because of me. We needed that. We needed him at the central defense, and that's why Rafa played in midfield, and there was no real reason to take out Rafa of the game. And there's sometimes those 51% decisions that are against you, and that doesn't really say anything about the quality that Leon is practicing with, and it doesn't mean that we're not trusting him. So as we have acquired Eric Dyer, that means Leon is now completely in midfield, which is his best position, and he's going to make games for us. It can be tomorrow, it can be on Saturday. We'll have to see, because we need all the players that we have in the squad, and we need players that are actually taking exception to about the coaching decision, and in order to work even harder and give us points in order to play them. One more question. What is the personnel situation for tomorrow? Are there any players missing? Well, no, that's a good question, but as far as I know, we don't have those players. Everyone will be available. On Sunday, you said that you wanted to make a change after the break in the second half. Well, yes, I had hope that we would be better, because There was lots of room for improvement. So we have to win all the time, and so the important question is this the moment where they can prove themselves and prove that they can do better, or should we make a change actually? That is the situation where a coach is not going to give away any of his thoughts, first of all, is waiting for every minute of the practice session to get a feel for the group and make those decisions about what to change and what not to change, and take that decision as late as possible. And I'm not going to take away for tomorrow. So that's it for today. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.